My name's Mark Johnson. I live in Franklin, Tennessee. I'm 53 years old. My background and my work has been in music publishing and music production and music creation. I did that with a group here in Nashville until 2006, where I was a part of a downsize. After that, as we all know, there was a great time in our country where we've essentially been through a recession. We've had many people lose jobs and lose homes and fall into difficult times. I was one of those people. In 2010, in September, I went through a crisis period in my life that was very, very difficult. The reality of not having steady work and not having steady income that went with it produced a situation where we lost our home. We had a foreclosure where a bank came and literally said, you've got a month to make a decision about where you'll live next and how you'll get out. And the moment that you lose a home is a very difficult moment. We lost a very nice home that we were thinking potentially would be the last home that we would live in. And when that was gone, it came as a shock and surprise to all of us. No one in our family had ever been through a foreclosure before. No one had been through a divorce or anything. So we had literally no one that were friends or family that could offer us any kind of good advice or give us any kind of reasoning about what had happened and how to prop ourselves back up again. We were at a place that was very dark, very lonely, and it was very troubling at every level. In all honesty, after that situation, I was not employable. I was not ready to be employable. I would not have said things in a way that someone could have said, I need to have that employee and I want him to work for me. I had too many negatives in my life, held a lot of baggage, and I'm still working through all those things. But those things held me to a point that I could not have been positive enough about myself and what I do well in an interview to survive an interview. Most people would have looked at me and said, you got too much to figure out and I don't have time for that. I need you to get in your workplace and get going immediately. There's just not time to rehab you. And a workplace is nothing if it's not brutal in the fact that people need to come ready to work. When we understood clearly that we were going to have to leave our home and that we would have to move and change literally everything about our life, we were very overwhelmed. The place that we went first was to our church, where we met with the minister there that counseled with us. And from that point, we were referred to Royce Harrel, who he knew as a good friend and as a person that had counseled other people that were in similar situations. When we were referred to Royce, probably the most important quality that he brought to us, in addition to listening, caring, and being empathetic and so forth, was that he had had enormous experiences in the work world and in life. And he was able to help us in what essentially was crisis management for us. We lost our home. We're about to have to move. We had one child in college and another one starting. We had a whole lot of things to not think about very long and to act on quickly. So to be able to do that, we needed someone to just help us take first steps, get from point A to point B, and then later B and C and D. But we had to be able to be enabled and feel confident to take first steps, and that was what was important. Probably one of the first things you have to ask yourself, and I had not even really thought seriously in these terms, was, as I sit before a potential employer, which is a supervisor that's hiring, what is it that that company needs or that organization needs that will make me valuable? How do I know what those things are that I do that fit that? And then, most importantly, how am I going to express that to that person? How can I let them know, without a shadow of a doubt, you have a company that needs me, I have traits that you will want once you see them, and we're a great fit together. That matching is what's crucial about Royce's counseling. That's going to help everyone know really quickly, am I suited or am I not, and how to portray that as we meet potential employers. In working at my former workplace, I was able to help people in publishing and music and enable them to have their products put out and so forth like that. And what I'd wanted to be was one of those people that had their stuff put out. And what I found out was that through the coaching with Royce, I had enormous skills that were in the administrative, office, fulfillment, workforce area that were very valuable for a lot of other different jobs too. And what I did there was I broadened my vision of how I could be valuable to other companies outside of just music. Music didn't have to be the solution for me. And that helped me enormously to realize how my financial needs could be met for my family while still using these core skills that I had. Prior to meeting Royce, my last interview was in 1996. So I was a dinosaur as far as interviews and interview techniques and learning how to prepare yourself for interviews. I would have thought that I was confident and able to survive any kind of a conversation in depth about my future. But I learned really quickly that that wasn't true. I hadn't been in the workforce where I had to do interviews with people and hadn't changed jobs in a long time. And most people that are my age, that are 53, are not thinking, how am I going to interview? That's just not a question. But now we live in a time where people change jobs much more quickly, either because they have to or because they want to. And I had to figure out real quickly, I'm not a very good interviewer. I need to come to some grips real quick about how I'm going to sharpen up a lot. And when Royce worked with me, I had a whole process here where I had to break down, again, some more confidence and some more pride about how well I could speak and be in front of people, and understand my answers were not solid and I needed to be much more well-formed and much more well-spoken. That was a great help to me by Royce. I'm employed by a wonderful company. This is a job that I could not have really dreamed of in 2010. They've enabled me and given me responsibility for great things that I enjoy doing every day. So to be where I am now is a wonderful gift from God and from the people that hired me. You have to think in the game of chess several steps ahead. So where would I be in 2014 and 15 and 20 and so on like that? And the answer really isn't extremely solid for me because I'm still in the media and entertainment field, which is changing all the time. But I feel like I'm in a place now where I can at least know that I have a handle on what my skills are or which ones are developing, which ones could translate to another field if I had to change jobs again. I certainly hope not, but if I had to. And I know that there's a confidence there from being able to interact with that employer that has really propelled me on, that would be essential for anyone else I talk to in the future. And this is what's probably happening with our workforce today is where people are, used to have lifetime jobs or jobs of 10 or 20 years. They're literally shrunken into a much smaller time frame now. So the question I would have for anyone reviewing their work with Royce and being coached is, are you ready for all the changes that will continue to come? Because I wasn't ready for any changes in my life. I thought I would do the same thing from beginning to end without any change. And now the question is, are you ready for all the changes that are coming? Because I have to realize at this point, your life is going to be full of changes. And it could be many more and much more dramatic even than the ones I've experienced. And the answer is, I think I am ready for more changes. I like that.